Bethel Global Response exists to see the church thrive in the midst of crisis. What would it look like if the church was fully equipped and prepared on its community's worst day? I grew up in a Christian home, like sixth generation Christian, but Jesus became mine in the midst of tragedy. That's when I encountered him as my king. So I'm on that ever pursuit, like his beauty in the darkest room, and I always find him in the midst of the most chaotic, most hardest situations. That's where my king always is, time and time again. Tijuana. So Tijuana came through kind of prophetic leaning of Chris Valentin. We ended up meeting a pastor down there, Pastor Gustavo. It's just this incredible man that for years now has transformed his church into a migrant and refugee center. So we've been there for over a year now, and it's been fun in that year to see other organizations, other churches kind of come around to meet these migrants' everyday needs of food, water, and shelter, education, but also to equip them spiritually as well. A common thread is this feeling of not belonging and not being wanted anywhere. Like I'm not safe and not wanted in my community where I'm from. I'm not wanted here in Mexico. The United States doesn't want me. So just having that opportunity to put humanity back in it. And you see these migrants that, 6-7 months before felt like they had no purpose, no place in this world. They're moving in authority, and they're casting out demons. They lifted a woman out of a wheelchair who was completely healed, like miracles breaking out. And then they come to the States and we get Facebook updates and things of where they're landing and how they're thriving in their communities. It's amazing to see the transformation in these people's lives, not through what we're doing, but through the impact of the goodness of Jesus in the midst of something that should be really hard, that should be detrimental. When we introduce Jesus in that moment, it actually becomes a catalyst. They're no longer torn down, they're actually built up into their kingdom destiny. Life in Ukraine is still very much a war zone, primarily in the east. Really our heart and kind of where we're operating is specifically to villages, cities, regions that other aid, other support isn't getting to. One of the big joys and benefits of working through the local church is the local church is everywhere. Like the local church is in every community, in every village. And so when we're just supplying and supporting them, we're actually able to get to places where larger organizations deem impossible to get to. We'll go to villages and you got to stand out there yelling for a while before people start coming up. People in that situation, they come out of these shelters and you just look at their eyes and you can tell they're barely there. We show up in the midst of shelling, in the midst of things flying, and you just smile at them, and you just, like that, you see hope enter their eyes. And they ask almost every time, why are you guys here? Like, you're here. We thought the world had forgotten about us. I can't tell you how many times we thought we didn't even know God knew we were here. And we always get to tell them, the world might have forgotten about you, but God surely hasn't. It's incredibly humbling to be there in the midst of that. Giving food, water, fuel for stoves, things like that. But it's undeniable his goodness in the midst of chaos. We're a ministry of this church. Like, we exist because Bethel exists, and our mission remains revival. So what is revival? Full revival in the midst of chaos and crisis. There is a significant need, but also a significant opportunity and grace, I think, in this time for the church to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And then obviously everything we do is rooted in the generosity of this house. And so we ask that this house continue to stand with us in prayer and support.